You're listening to Cinematic Adventures, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
Road, we're going, we don't need roads.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Badges? We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
You make me want to be a better man.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
He's looking at you, kid.
Not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. Don't forget, if you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you get your podcast. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you find links to not only this show, but some of our other shows, like Cinematic Adventures, which is this one, also the Multiverse Fancast, and MF Uncensored. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me in the studio, via the Zoom studio, is Sean. Sean, how are you today?
I am just wonderful, Paul. How are you?
I don't know. I kind of struggled with the intro there, but we'll just move on.
You were good. You're fine.
Yeah.
No problems.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question, Sean.
Yes, sir.
Do you know anything about a great white buffalo? Yeah, so Sean's audio cut out as soon as he whispered great white buffalo. So for dramatic effect, I'm going to great white buffalo. That's what Sean did. Of course, your audio completely cut out. Zoom. Goddamn Zoom.
Sorry. There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, well, for the record, we're also recording during like a state of emergency, like hurricane level rainstorm that just passed through, and we're just hoping the power stays on while we do this.
Oh, God. It's been, last 2 days, it's been pretty crazy.
It was 99.9 degrees yesterday with 500% humidity, and now today it's like a hurricane. Whatever. Here we are. And if you couldn't tell by our Great White Buffalo reference, we are talking about a movie today that was way better than it deserved to be, which was it's still a fantastic movie, which is still rewatchable in every possible way, and then had a sequel that took that whole concept, put it in the toilet, flushed it a few times, and then asked you to drink.
Which is worse, Hot Tub Time Machine 2 or The Hangover 2? I say Hot Tub Time Machine 2 was
You think that one's worse?
Yeah.
I think Hot Tub Time Machine 2 has more moments that I laugh at, though.
That's fair.
I'll never not laugh at like when they first go to the and obviously they tried to change their concept. They went the opposite way, so I can't fault them for that. I think, and we'll talk about it because we're going to focus on the first one because the first one is truly the superior movie. I'd say it's in my top 10 comedies.
If it's not there, it's on the border. Yeah, but it's a movie that if it's on, most of the time it's going to be cut and like not going to be as funny, but you still have to sit there and watch a few scenes because it is hysterical.
And it's super quotable.
Oh, absolutely.
So quotable.
As we just, exampled when we opened the show.
Yeah. And it's funny because like this movie was a sleeper hit. Like they didn't expect it to be like do as well as it did. On a budget of $36 million, it pulled in almost 65. So that's really good.
Just short of doubling its budget. It probably didn't get a great release.
Oh, yeah, no, I can imagine. It was only in about 3,000 theaters. So, like, that's not a lot.
Yeah, and I think very much this movie probably got its, money more back on the rentals.
Yep.
Because rentals were still around in 2010,
I can't believe this movie is that long ago. We're at that point where we're the characters in that movie.
Okay.
Slightly happier. Everybody's a little bit happier. So what we're going to do for this one, we're going to go through the basic premise. And first we'll do the cast because you can't do a plot without talking about the cast first. And this cast is an interesting collection.
Very interesting collection. You started off with the star, and that is John Cusack. He is the reason, I'll be honest, he's the reason I went to see this movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because for all anyone out there who's a fan of John Cusack, the guy's been around since the mid-'80s. He's not a Brat Packer, but he was in a lot of Brat Packy type movies of the 80s. And he's really made himself into one of the better, character actors and, for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just like a nice little, homage to the 80s and stuff like that. And he's like the perfect person to do that.
Yeah, and like Sean said, that's the I had no idea about this movie. Like, really, all I saw the one thing that everybody knows from this movie. It's when Craig Robinson looks at the camera and says it must be some sort of hot tub time machine. Like, that is all I knew about this movie going into it. And even like some of the actors, you look at them, and I know John Cusack. Rob Corddry is one of those guys that like you saw in a lot of things.
We had known him from Harold and Kumar Guantanamo Bay. I mean, that was probably the biggest thing. He was movie-wise, but he was the Daily Show. You know, he was a correspondent on the Daily Show. That was his claim to fame. And
this is when he started kind of creating his like asshole demeanor, where first it started in Harold and Kumar, and then it got dialed up a little bit in this one. That's one of the reasons the next movie failed. They did what The Hangover did also, where they took the things that people liked and they dialed them up too far.
Yeah.
But Rob Corddry is the second on the list of billing as Lou, the Violator. Sean, if you had a nickname, what would it be?
Ooh, I don't know. You're better with nicknames than I am. I don't know. What would my nickname be?
I don't know what the basis of that statement is, considering I don't have a nickname for you, but thank you for telling me.
I think you're better at giving people nicknames. You don't.
I mean, you got long arms. You still got that one.
I do have that, yes.
Yeah, God damn it, long arms. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm going to put some thought into it, hopefully by the end of the episode.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right. But yeah, this is really... Basically, Lou is the reason this movie happens.
Yes, he's the glue to the story, you know, of what makes this movie work. Is his character.
We got Craig Robinson as Nick Weber Agnew. Stupid. So stupid. They make fun of him so much, and rightfully so.
Is it progressive? No. No, it's not.
And this man has a goatee. Oh, my God. We have Clark.
And Craig Robinson really, I mean, was The Office.
Yeah, that was really what he was at this point.
And this is before, obviously, like This Is the End movie and other stuff. But he wasn't really that big yet either when this came out.
And then we got Clark Duke,
who was also on The Office.
And I liked Clark Duke from Sex Drive.
See, I'd never seen that. So there you go.
He plays like the cool guy in it.
That's interesting.
And it works too, which is even crazier. But like he was like this really cool dude in it, and then like also he was in Superbad.
He was?
He does the line when Fogel's getting arrested. He goes, "Holy shit, Fogel's a badass."
Wow. Okay. Now that you say that, I do. Okay. Wow.
Steel trap, crazy. Buddy. Steel trap. If only I could remember important things like paying my bills or people's names. But you asked me obscure facts about Smallville. You better believe I'm going to have it ready to go.
Oh, absolutely.
We did.
What was the name of the episode of season 4, episode 3?
I don't want to talk about it. But we did our Heroes episode on Multiverse the other day, and the amount of knowledge I pulled out of the deep recesses of my brain were, even to me, astounding. And I don't often impress myself.
And when's the last time you sat down and watched that show? Like,
I put on a couple of episodes before we watched it, or before we did the episode. So like I was like freshly.
There you go.
Yeah, but I was very, very surprised with myself on that one. Let's see, but I do like Clark Duke, and I think he does a great job as Jacob in this one.
He's the same one in this movie. He's the one trying to like get them to go back and go back to the present.
Well, he's also fading out of existence, so I don't blame him.
That too.
Like, I'm on Team Jacob for most of this movie.
He's got a problem. He's got a problem that needs to get fixed.
I'm Team Jacob for a lot of this movie. Anywho, Chevy Chase as the repairman.
Yep, nice little nod to Chevy Chase. I mean, he's in the few scenes he's in. He's funny. Does his typical humor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's Chevy Chase being Chevy Chase. I think this was really before though, like all the talk of how like just miserable of a person he is.
I can't remember the timeline, but it was around that time because he was on that show Community. I can't remember if this was while he was on it or after he left it. But yeah, it's. If it wasn't during this, it was right after this is when really all that stuff started coming out.
Yeah. Colette Wolfe as Kelly Yates, Adam's sister and Jacob's mom, who's there. She's also
back in the second one.
She's also kind of a plot device, if you know what I mean.
Do I know what you mean? I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. Anywho, let's see. Crispin
Glover.
Yep, Crispin Glover is Phil, the repairman.
which is a nice, funny little scene. And he's kind of like that overarching arc of the storyline because you know what happens to him and you're just waiting for that moment.
Yeah, we'll talk
And
about it.
Funny.
Yep. It's
funny every time.
It's so good. We got, let's see, Sebastian Stan as Blaine of all people.
Oh yeah, this is before Bucky.
He hams it up in this.
Oh, he does. He's playing that quintessential 80s villain.
And so over the top in the best possible way.
Absolutely.
We got Lizzie Kaplan as April.
And this was 2010, so this was after Cloverfield.
Yes, that's right.
Because I'd only still known her really from Smallville, but she's really made a name for herself over the last 15 years. She's actually a very good actress.
It does kind of bother me though that like they say that they're 17, like they go back to their 17-year-old selves. I want to say like she does not look like she's 17.
She does not look 17.
So it was okay because she was with John Cusack, but you have to remember that John Cusack was 17-year-old John Cusack.
I mean, you have to assume she's 20, 21 maybe.
Scandalous. Let's see. We got Crystal Lowe as Zoe. I don't even know who that is.
Isn't that the girl John Cusack is dating?
No, it doesn't look like her.
Oh, maybe that was Jenny. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Jenny. But no. Who? This is gonna drive me crazy. Who is Zoe then?
I don't know.
Is Zoe the one that?
Zoe is
that violator.
Zoe's the girl that
Lou tries to get into a threesome. Yeah. By the way, this is a very rated R movie, and we will do our best, but we are going to be saying some inappropriate things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got at the very end of the credit sheet, we have a nice little cameo from Will Zabka, who this is before Cobra Kai.
I did not recognize him.
No.
He looks so different.
They made him up to look like just like an out of shape,
yeah,
like Texas looking, drug lord millionaire type thing.
I also want to mention Lindsay Finesca as Jenny, because she's one of those other actresses that just kind of pops up everywhere, and I do really like her. I'm trying to remember exactly what I've seen her in, though. That would be something of note. She's in Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2.
Okay.
That's where I first met her.
Carter.
She was what?
She was an Agent Carter.
She was an Agent Carter. She was also on an episode of Heroes. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. But anyway, that's the main cast. There are a couple of others, but for the most part, those are the people you're going to be thinking about. Anywho, so the plot of this movie is very simple yet complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the movie starts off, and it shows each character, and they're all living very just mediocre, miserable lives. Like, I think Adam sells life
Adam's
insurance.
girlfriend moved out, and she took all the stuff.
Yes.
He's very anal. He dotted every single thing that was his in the apartment, and she even took his TV and all that stuff.
But his nephew Jacob is still living in the basement. Didn't even realize that this was happening.
Is that what was all that noise? And he's playing one of those Sims games where he's in jail.
Gotta do some push-ups. But
you were in jail yesterday. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm doing hard time. That's what happens.
This movie's super quotable. I'm really sorry, guys. This is going to happen for the entire movie. And then you got, let's see, Nick, who is, I want to say he works in he's at a pet grooming place.
Yeah, he works at a pet grooming place.
He wanted to be a music producer, and when he was, oh yeah, the keys. Oh, that's gross. And then, of course, we have Lou, who is trying to get in touch with both of them about some business venture, and ends up, you don't find out until the very end, but he tries to kill himself. He claims that it was an accident, and he was just rocking out and enjoying life, but he did, in fact, try to kill himself with carbon monoxide poisoning. Mm-hmm. So he wakes up in the hospital, and they manage to get in touch with Nick and Adam, who go to meet him, and they say one of the best lines in the entire movie. You know how every friend group has their asshole? He's our asshole. And Craig Robinson says it's so deadpan, just staring. He's very good at that sort of thing. And they decide to take Lou to their childhood ski resort that they used to go to when they were young, and have huge parties and beautiful girls and go skiing and get drunk and blah blah blah. And unfortunately, this was also 2010, right?
Yes.
So the economy was in the crapper in 2010.
That's true.
And it is evidenced by the fact that every single, like, they're driving into town and they're so excited and they bring Jacob too. And, like, literally every store is closed.
Yeah.
Like, everything's
nothing left in
condemned.
the town. And then the hotel, the resort they stay at is just like a crumbling, piece of shit.
But I'll also give the movie kudos. The movie starts off exactly promising. Like, it's a nostalgia trip. And they start off by going back to their childhood, like the place of their favorite childhood memories. And then the Great White Buffalo line is because they talk about the one that got away.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up where they pass a pizza place that closed down, where Adam's girlfriend at the time, he broke up with her and she stabbed him in the eye with a fork. So he laments about, she was the one that got away. So, Great White Buffalo.
Great White Buffalo.
Nailed it. But anyway, so they get there and the place is a crap hole, and the Peltman's got one arm, played by Crispin Glover, Phil, and he's just a terrible person. Like, he's just mean and like throwing their things around. And I think Lou's like, it's common courtesy. I don't care if he's disabled. Like, it's a terrible line, but like at the time it was so funny. He's like, we should treat him differently because he can't start a round of applause. Like, it's so messed up, but at the same time, like he's like throwing their stuff around, and they're too afraid to say anything, which I get. But and then he asks for a tip. I can't. It's too much. And it's Crispin Glover too.
I gotta watch this movie again.
I know. Now I kind of want to watch it. I don't think producer Melanie's gonna want to watch this when she gets home.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try my best. I got wine. But so they end up enjoying, like, they're trying to enjoy the night, and at one point
they're like sitting around playing quarters, and they're like bored out of their minds.
We haven't played quarters for fun, much less out of boredom.
Yeah.
I think we tried to play quarters after this, and it just wasn't for us because we got super frustrated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just want to play drink the beer.
No skills.
Yeah, I just want to play drink the beer.
What do you
win? Another beer. But anyway, so the hot tub outside suddenly magically comes to life. And it's like glowing, because originally when they first opened it up, there was like a dead raccoon in it, and it was empty.
Well, this is unacceptable. We'll get maintenance up here.
So it activates, and they decide to all go in the nude, of all things, because it's called male bonding. Haven't you seen Wild Hogs? Sean's going to be giggling this whole episode. I'm just going to do quotes to make him laugh the entire time, and then I'm going to talk just to prove that I can also do a podcast by myself. What? He's still going. Oh, I'm going to have to edit out so many just dead silences.
Who ever thought a quote about Wild Hogs would be funny?
It was better than the entire movie Wild Hogs.
Seriously.
Oh my God, what a forgettable movie that was. But anyway, so unbeknownst to them, Lou also brought a bag of just all these drugs and alcohol and this special drink called Nitro Chernobyl. I think.
It's like the Russian Red Bull.
Like Russian Red Bull.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question, Sean. In our youth, we enjoyed the Red Bull and vodka more than once.
Yeah,
Would you try the Nitro Chernobyl and vodka?
I don't know. That would have been interesting. It depends on who would have been offering it to me.
Me.
Then maybe.
Ronnie.
Maybe.
Only if I watch him pour it first. I don't trust him. You remember the last time we had Red Bull and vodka? It was at Billy Joe's.
Oh God, that was horrible.
We couldn't do, like, the way they made it was just horrible. That's so much better as a shot.
We asked for a shot, and we ended up getting like
a full glass
of Red Bull and vodka.
It was not properly mixed. But anyway, I'm gonna stick to my Michelob Ultras. Thanks. Anyway, no, my Loyals. That's my new thing. Please sponsor us.
There you go.
Loyal Lemonade, sponsor us, please. But anywho, so they end up, and time travel movies can be done a lot of different ways. I actually like this way, where they get put back in their younger bodies. I think it's a much more interesting concept.
Oh yeah, and it works better for the story, because obviously, what would they be? The grown-ass adults be doing with all the younger people?
Right.
Wouldn't make, no sense.
And it's really the way they do it is perfect too. Like, because the four of them can't see any difference.
No.
And it's not for like another 10, 15 minutes of the movie runtime that they finally realize it. It's like they do a whole sequence.
Yeah, it's basically they just wake up their normal selves, but everyone's seeing only the 17-year-old them.
Yeah.
But
So
seeing Jacob.
yeah,
you know,
so
which-
Jacob's just him. He's just
Yeah.
Jacob. So
He's just dead.
Sean and I are in our mid-30s, just in case
Mhm.
anybody is wondering. I know it's depressing. In this movie, most of these guys are in their I'd say late 40s.
40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't realize until like they have a horrific snow skiing and snowboarding accident that they're suddenly so young again because they're like, man, we should be really messed up, but I kind of feel really great. Like they feel just fantastic. I can't imagine, even though Sean and I are in our mid 30s, like suddenly being back in the bodies of our 17-year-olds selves. Like that'd be wild.
That'd be crazy. I have to admit I would not feel sore anymore. That'd be amazing.
I know. Oh, so ready? This is kind of who would win in a fight, but what would you rather do? Would you rather wake up in your body when you were 17, like Hot Tub Time Machine style, like wake up and suddenly it's like, 2004 and you get to relive your life from that point with all the knowledge you have now? Or would you rather just wake up in your 17-year-old body and still continue with the life that you're in right now?
I'd have to say either or is good, but I'd probably go knowing the knowledge I know.
Yeah, mostly for investment purposes because we're in our 30s and that's what we think of first.
God, yeah. I mean, come on.
Amazon? They're going to start delivering to people's houses? I'll get in on that, maybe.
Well, they did that back in 2004.
But before Prime.
Oh, yeah, no, Prime wasn't around, but they were still delivering.
Google? I'll throw a few bucks to buy a few shares of Google. It's a silly name. What's that Facebook thing coming out of Harvard? I'm going to get in on that. Insta what? Instagram? It's just pictures of people's foods? All right, let's buy some stock.
Yeah, Twitter,
TikTok. Stupid.
and knowing all the winners of all the sporting events, so they could bet some money.
I'd invest in that. I need 1% in a username. That's fine. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, so they realize that they are now in the past because it must be some sort of hot tub time machine. And they decide that they have to relive. First, they decide they have to relive the entire day. After they do a lot of drugs. Like, they all kind of panic, and they all just start drinking and doing drugs. Craig Robinson's face is full of cocaine, and he goes on a whole tirade about Terminator. And they
That's
talk,
another great one.
they talk about the butterfly effect, too. Like, all that stuff. Like, basically, if you go back and you change anything, it can have huge repercussions. So, at first, they decide they're going to reenact their entire experience. That means Adam has to break up with his girlfriend and get stabbed in the eye with a fork. Lou has to pick a fight with the snow patrol and get beaten up. Nick has to be intimate with a groupie and perform with his band in an open mic event. They also, and that's also when they,
and that's why he's not into the music business anymore.
Yeah, because he did a lackluster performance while he was there. And they also meet Adam's sister Kelly while she's there, young Kelly, and she's literally promiscuous and doing a lot of cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
So she's there for the snow, but not skiing. You know what I mean? But so they all really have trouble doing their tasks. Lou gets punched in the face by Blaine and loses his backpack, but
Lou's the only one that actually goes through with what he was supposed to do.
Twice.
Yeah.
And Blaine also takes his backpack then. That's when he takes the backpack, and they think that they're communist spies because they were watching Red Dawn too many times. Oh, watching Red Dawn again, huh, Blaine? But yeah, so he challenges him again to the fight. After he gets punched in the face, he still says, "You bring your friends, I'm going to bring my friends." And the best is like Jacob's like, "All right, get to it." So, because Jacob's the only one there that doesn't have something to do. So for some reason, he gets stuck with Lou. We find out later on that obviously Lou is his father. It's one of the best scenes.
I saw that coming though.
Once they started really going at each other.
It wasn't a shocker, but
No.
it was still funny the way they did it.
Yeah. Adam becomes attracted to Jenny again and doesn't want to break up with her, but he also meets a music journalist named April. And it's funny because, like, Jenny's kind of annoying. Like, you forget when you're young and you're in love and you overlook a lot of things. Like, the best is when she describes, like, their time being intimate the night before. She's like, "And you were so good, you lasted like 8 minutes." And I think I had an orgasm. Like that when you're 16, 17, you don't know nothing about nothing. And then like she's at the concert and she's like, yeah, poison, woo. Oh my God. I was like, yeah, she's very attractive, but that's so annoying. Nick.
I love it when he goes on the rampage after she breaks up with him. She goes, "You're gonna get fat." I'm not gonna get fat, and then that's what she stabs him in the eye.
Yeah. So because he decides he's gonna stay with her, and he tries to keep the relationship going, but she ends up breaking up with him instead. Yeah. And he goes back.
We already kind of passed that part, but when they're freaking out and they're going through the room, he's opening up his luggage and it's all drugs. And Jacob's like, "Who are you, Hunter S. Thompson?" He goes, "I thought I was."
They were really good friends in real life.
That's true. They were.
So Adam goes through like an existential crisis and it ends up running up with April. But at the same time, Nick, who am I talking to? Jeez, Nick and Lou decide that they're going to change the past because Adam decided he wasn't going to break up with his girlfriend. So they go out.
There's a football game going on at the time.
So they start placing bets because they know the game that well. But they end up losing because of the squirrel.
The squirrel.
Yeah.
The squirrel that Lou vomited on.
Butterfly effect. It's a perfect example. And
where'd the squirrel go?
Yeah. So they decide to do all these ventures, and the biggest thing is getting Nick onto stage that night. So they all manage to rally, and they're like, and Nick's like, don't worry, I'm gonna be there for your fight. We're gonna do this. He does his show, and it's super successful. He does Jesse's Girl, and he like blows it away.
Girl, and then he does
Let's Get It Started by the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
And Lou gets his ass kicked, and they also find out that they need the Nitro Chernobyl to go back from the repairman, who's cryptic and all creepy. So they made it. First time this happened, he did the same thing. He went up to the top of that roof with a bottle of vodka or
shouting out things. He goes, "John Lennon gets shot." Oh wait, that already happened.
Yeah. So they managed to convince him to get off the roof after they save him, and Phil saves them. Oh, Phil. Oh, this is when it happens. But
I'm gonna die. It's okay.
So they go to the ski house and they manage to confront the ski guys after, of course, Lou impregnates Kelly. I feel pregnant. You're welcome. Because that's how that goes. And they get the stuff.
John, can we just establish John Cusack's facial reactions through that whole scene?
Oh my God! So what happens is Lou and Kelly kind of had this weird flirty thing this whole movie. And it gets like more and more, and they run into each other while they're looking for the Nitro Chernobyl, and they end up having sex. But they get interrupted by Jacob, who when he
and Alex
and the rest of the guys, and when Jacob like runs at him, they stop having sex and he disappears, and they realize that was the night that he was conceived. So Adam tells him, "You finish this," and they wait outside. And Lou, so basically the scene cuts to them outside, and they're hearing everything, and it's too graphic to describe. We're not gonna quote that, but yeah. So and just Adam is.
I just remember seeing that in theaters, and I think we were on the floor laughing.
Oh,
we were done.
on the floor crying. It was probably the funniest part.
Oh my God!
Like I still laugh at it. But so they manage to get the Nitro Chernobyl. They stand up to the bullies, and they manage to get home. But first, Lou decides he is going to stay. And he thinks he would do better, and he deserves a second chance to be a good father and to do things different. But, so, it all works out. But they go back, and Lou stays, but they meet Phil, and Phil's like, "I printed up some legal maps for you." And he's got both arms now because the ski patrol saved his arm. And it turns out that Lou used his knowledge of the future to, he becomes a multi-billionaire. He invents Lugal. He was in Motley Crue, which was actually Motley Lou. And they each have a new life. So Adam, they don't say what Adam ends up doing because I think beforehand he showed life insurance or something. Something's just.
Yeah, they just know that he's now with Lizzie Kaplan.
In this beautiful new house. Yeah.
House. She's a reporter, obviously, so maybe she just became very successful with her job, and that's what they're living on.
Yeah.
And
Nick is a successful music producer.
And all good there.
Yeah, which was nice.
Yeah.
And he's not a hyphen because he ended up calling his wife when she was 7 and yelling at her about cheating on him in the future. And the funniest part of that entire scene is when the dad picks up and he's like, "Hang up the phone, Jerry. This doesn't concern you. This is between me and my wife." And then Jacob takes the phone and he's like, "Sorry, wrong number. But you're a bad girl and you hurt him." It's just, I can't. Like, this movie is just super quotable, and you can tell they had probably a little bit of leeway about what they were allowed to like do. So it really works out, and it's just really funny. But they all have their happily ever afters, and then they made a freaking terrible sequel.
And that's what pisses me off. You could have just ended it there. You would have been happy and all that fun stuff. But nope, we gotta do all that.
So let's talk about Hot Tub Time Machine. We're not going to talk nearly as much about this one, mostly because it was such a this was one of the bigger disappointments.
Well, the biggest factor for me was that John Cusack wasn't in it.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly stated when he made the first one, he was like, the title was so ridiculous, I had to do it. But it was a one-shot deal. There was no interest in wanting to continue on.
Yeah.
So to me, he was the glue. He's the straight man, with his, a few funny moments of his own to keep the others in check. Once you get rid of that straight man, the other characters just kind of become all crazy and even more over the top. And that's, in my opinion, what happened. They replaced him with Adam Scott.
It didn't work. It didn't work because they didn't make him a character like Adam. He was one of them.
His own weird problems. It was just stupid.
So apparently John Cusack did have an uncredited cameo in the unrated version
of the sequel.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. But we'll go through the cast really quick. We'll do the returning ones. Rob Corddry, Craig Robinson, and Clark Duke all come back. Chevy Chase comes back. Let's see. I want to say
Adam Scott is the new.
Adam Scott plays
Adam.
Adam Yates Adam Jr. Adam Yates Stedmeyer. You got Jillian Jacobs as Jill, Colette Wolfe as Kelly. She comes back. And that's really the biggest of the cast. We have Kaylee Sue returns as Courtney Weber, Nick's wife. But basically, the movie starts off with all of them taking real advantage of their knowledge of the future. Like, Lou, is super rich and super famous. We found that out at the end of the first movie. But Nick's been stealing music for years now.
Yeah.
So basically, he's been taking famous songs before they come out and releasing them under his own. He's like, I think the first scene is like him singing, "You say I only hear what I want to," like that song. And he runs into Lisa Loeb, who's a singer, and like she's like a janitor now because he took all of her music. Yeah,
forgot about that.
Yeah, but they go to a party at Lou's manor. Lou's having his own problems. Like, him and his wife are getting divorced. He's just a terrible person. He's worse in this movie. Way worse. And he gets shot. So they decide, he takes him to a secret room where he apparently got the hot tub from the resort and fixed it up, and with all this nitrocernobly too. So he decides, we're going to go back in time and it'll fix me. Like, I know how to use the time machine now. But they accidentally go into the future. Mm-hmm. And I will say that the first scene of them in the future where it's, "You look like," that scene always makes me laugh. Like, that, it's just funny. And it's almost like a murder mystery. They're trying to figure out who shot Lou. And we find out that it's by them going to the future, it causes Adam Jr. to come back in time to shoot Lou for sleeping with his wife on their wedding night.
That's right, yeah.
Because Adam accidentally gets on a show called Choosy Doozy. I will say it is quite the commentary on American entertainment that it's probably not that far off that we would have a show like that. Hosted by Christian Slater, of all people.
That's right.
And it is just horse crap. It is a rough movie.
And I didn't realize there was a 5-year gap between the two movies. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I thought it was a shorter gap between them, but it was 5 years later than this one came out.
Yeah, this one was also a massive critical failure. It on a budget of $18 million, which is pretty much the same as the last one. $13.1 million it ended up with. Like,
That's crazy.
what? How?
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, the first one was more of a cult classic, small movie, so you would think this one would at least pick up, just initially make its budget back in like opening weekend, and then it would just drop because word of mouth. But the fact that it couldn't even make its budget back says how bad it was.
Says how bad it was indeed. But let's do.
And they were going to make a third one, but this one just bombed so badly that
they'll never make another one, which is unfortunate. I can see this also. This would be a fun TV show. Well,
I feel like it would get tired very quickly.
One of the best parts of this movie, the second one, is at the end where stupid Lou dies anyway. Like, we go through the whole movie in character growth, and they kill Lou off in the end anyway. Spoilers for Hot Tub Time Machine 2 and Hot Tub Time Machine 1. It must be some sort of Hot Tub Time Machine. But the ending credits is them almost doing like a quantum leap type thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was a way better movie. That would have been a way better movie.
Doesn't like Revolutionary Lou come out of the time machine or something like that? He shoots one of them.
We got to make America happen, bro. They have to go back in time and save America. Like, they do some really funny ones. Like, what is it? When they're the Beatles and they make fun of, I forget which one they make fun of. They're like, you're Ringo. Like, that's like funny. I would watch that movie instead.
Yeah.
But here we are. Stupid. So stupid. But anyway, Star City rating for Hot Tub Time Machine 1.
4.
I'm with you. Solid 4. Good time. 4.5 if you're drunk or high.
Absolutely rewatchable. It is, as you've said numerous times, it is extremely quotable. It is just fun. Just a fun time, and just was such a... No one expected what it was going to be, but it just blew us away in terms of just how funny it was.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go with the 4. What about for the second one?
1.5.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it since we saw it in theaters. I never plan on watching it again. No need.
If we ever become really successful podcasters, we are going to do like some sort of like stupid movie reviews where
that's fine.
Or like
if this becomes our primary, revenue, then great. We'll sit and watch movies all day and do, reviews and commentaries on them. That's when I'll sit down and watch this movie again.
Oh, I would do a drunken commentary on this one. You take a shot every time it's bad. Oh, I'm dead. I'm actually not alive anymore. Hot Tub Time Machine. Yeah. But it's on Prime, in case you're wondering.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case. But that is going to wrap us up today. We don't have a Fan Feedback Friday this week because we weren't sure if we were going to record, so that is on me. Things were up in the air. But if you guys...
too much guilt.
Too much guilt. If you guys want to participate in Fan Feedback Friday when we do it, it is every Friday between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll throw it on our Facebook page. So make sure you guys like us on Facebook. Make sure you guys check out our other social media. We have Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all these things. So just type in the Misfit Faction or Cinematic Adventures, and odds are you'll find some of our stuff. But that is going to wrap us up for this episode. As always, I'm Paul.
I'm Sean.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Adios.
Hey guys, it's Paul, and the Misfit Faction is looking for your help. We are trying to grow not only our network, but also grow our brands, and the best way to do that is if you guys are looking to start your very own podcast. Maybe you guys have been listening to us for a while, maybe it's something you guys have always wanted to do, but you're not sure how to get started. If you go to podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys will get a month of free podcasting on us. That is a gift from us. So make sure if you guys are looking to start your own show, you reach out to us and go to podbean.com/misfitfaction. Also, maybe you guys have your own online business or service that you're always looking to grow, and advertising is a very big part of that. If you guys go to sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys can get $100 worth of free advertising, again, as a thank you from us to you guys. That's sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction.